Hello and welcome to Biofit with us episode 2. Gary, Shannon, what's the crack? How are we?
All good, mate. All good. How you?
Good, no complaints.
Shannon, what's happening?
Not much. Just chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain. I've not heard that in a while.
I was going to say, Gary, tell us about your first run, mate. How did it go?
Disgusting. Absolutely honking. Like, I hated everything. For anybody that doesn't know, to put it into context, I made the decision over the last weekend, to sign up for the Glasgow Half Marathon because I thought I thrive on challenge. I like to be challenged. I like to have something to work towards. And I thought, fuck it. I absolutely hate running, so why not sign up for a half marathon? Done my first run yesterday. I'm regretting my decision fully.
Tell me more about the run, mate. What did you do? How did it feel?
Um, you know that way when it's the first time I've run this year, like doing any sort of kind of substantial run, but you know that way when you're running, see when you've been running for a while and you start to get into the rhythm of it and you get the kind of runner's high and you don't even feel like you're running, you almost feel like you're floating. That did not happen for me yesterday. I felt every single step. It was honking. So it was meant to be 3.5K. I lasted 3K, and I could barely walk home. I had the jelly legs. I had to stop and like just stand in the one spot for a couple of minutes before I trusted my legs to carry me up a hill. It also doesn't help that I've got a wee bit more timber on my frame as well. So I was saying to Shannon yesterday that I run like I'm towing a bus behind me, and it genuinely feels like that. So yeah, it was fucking disgusting.
Only gets better from here on in.
Well, that's it. That's it. Silver linings and all that. So, next run is this weekend, and it's a 6K. It's supposed to be hilly intervals. I'm a fuck doing hilly intervals. I can barely walk hilly intervals. Never mind run.
It's runner you're using, isn't it?
Run
Programming.
out. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's funny because like I signed up for a marathon without ever doing a run myself, mate, and it's like a bit similar to yourself. I'm like, we will choose something and then we'll just make it right. It's like make a
yeah.
decision, then make it the right decision. Don't make the right decision. So I signed up to one, but I think similar to you, mate. You done what 3K yesterday? I was meant
Yeah.
to do a 5K, and I think I got 2.5K in, and I was like, why is this so fucking hard? I think I walked for about 600 meters, and I told myself, I was like, I'm going to get running again. Did that?
Mhm.
Well, I tried to run, and it was like probably the most. This is before I had Finn, but it was the most dad jog of all time. Was like proper, like yeah, awful.
Do you know what I felt like? You ever? I don't know if this is it's just Glaswegian grannies or mums, but see when they go to like say run for a bus, or let's say they're walking across the road and the lights go from red to green, and somebody revs their engine, so they do that wee kind of like fake run, but they're actually faster just walking. Do you know the wee run that I
Ick.
mean? Like the arms go, like, but they're not going any faster. That's how I felt.
I'm not going to lie, I do catch myself doing that when I'm like when there's a car, like when I'm walking Rocky and there's a car or something. I do a wee jog, but I'm like, I'm not actually going any faster.
Yeah, you're not going any faster at all.
But we still got time to try and rope Shannon into doing this half marathon if her ovaries are
Allow me to.
allow you to. You're getting
Yeah.
updates on that tomorrow. Am I right in saying that?
Hopefully. What an experience having strangers at you. That was something else.
Care to explain for any listeners, or do you know what to
I
divulge that information?
You can
I
make some
got
good money off
camera
that.
up there. That was interesting. Very like secretive. They wouldn't tell me anything going on. I was like, so are we looking well? And they'd just be like, click, click, and like, hmm. Good 20 minutes of just me lying there being like, right. And then they're like, you're done. Your doctor will discuss this with you. And I'm like, I'm dying. That's it. They're not telling me anything because I'm dying. But it was lovely. Adam came to support me and he just sat in the hall and he was like, fuck me, you were gone ages. I was like, I know, I felt like it was forever. But no shame. You just whipped it all off and went in and did your thing. So hopefully tomorrow we get the results
Fingers
and I'm not
crossed. And
dying.
what is the expected result, or what's the result you're hoping for?
Assist.
Yeah,
Simple and just go in and pop it or something like that. I don't know what they do with assist.
they cut it out.
Oh fuck it.
They cut it out. Well, I've had two, one on my neck and one on my arm, and they cut that out. So I don't know how it works with cysts on your ovaries or wherever it
Ovaries
is.
or wherever it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Mainly
Don't
because I
know
don't
either.
have ovaries to experience it.
Yeah, if anyone's listening that has this experience, please let me know. I got like really bad advice as well when they were telling me about the camera. Jen told me that they put a condom on it, but they did not.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just lubed up, I guess, is the best way to describe that one.
We are off to a fucking great start on the Biofit
Yeah,
Plug podcast this week. Honestly, this is a fantastic topic.
I'm
I think.
bringing diversity for women here.
So how can we still get a good session in when the gym is busy or you don't have a lot of time?
Straight into the questions. Straight into the questions. Actually, before we go into that, did you see what I shared on my story yesterday? I came across another Instagram page that absolutely cracks me up. You know, last week it was the Crazy Frog Brothers.
Right.
This week it's Bus Stop Girl Daily.
No, I've not
Have
seen
you
it.
ever seen it? It's basically someone's recording a woman at the bus, standing at the bus stop from like a flat, and she's obviously listening to music because she's having a great time, right? And she's dancing, and she does like a punch. Like
I did see
she's
this.
like, did you see it? And she does like a punch, and then she starts dancing. But someone's made an Instagram page where it's that video, but they've dubbed over loads and loads of different songs. So she punches at the exact moment. There's like a beat drop or a like a drum, and it is honestly the greatest thing. Every song imaginable is on that fucking Instagram page. So I've been having fun watching that over the last kind of 24 hours.
I'm
Get on it, Bus Stop Girl Daily.
I'm going on to your Instagram just so I can save it for now that I'll add to
Brilliant.
the list.
Honestly, absolutely brilliant. I shared that story yesterday in the actual Bus Stop Girl Daily. Loved this story.
Sound just
You're
like
famous
it.
now.
Loved it.
Aye. Shall we dive into some questions or some topics?
Yes. So how can I still get a good session in when the gym is busy or you don't have a lot of time?
Um, yeah, the gym being busy is a pain in the prick, especially if you're going at peak times. Um, if it's busy though, and you can't follow your program, what I would suggest or what I would recommend is, as long as you're substituting the machines, for example, that you can't get on for a similar movement. So let's say you can't get on the leg press, maybe try a goblet squat. If you can't, if you can't get on a bench, well, a barbell bench, grab some dumbbells, do a flat bench. So bit of a pain in the arse when it is busy because you do usually get the kind of the groups of five, six, and seven pretty boys hanging about one machine, all counting each other's reps and wanking each other off.
They're not even
Um,
pretty boys anymore. They're just all got these broccoli hairdos. Gone are
aye.
the days of the
Wearing
earrings. And,
Montello, is that the brand?
The what?
Montello, it's like a certain brand. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but they're all in these like full tracksuits of it. And I'm like, it's fucking disgusting. Look, it's not even a nice tracksuit to begin with.
I honestly, I count my lucky stars that I work in a gym that is not open to the public. Honestly,
yeah, mate. I honestly think bring back kids drinking in parks. Fucking get them out of
Amen.
the gyms.
right? Probably should answer the question. So, what was the question?
How can you
You
still
were
get?
on a good roll.
Yeah, to be fair, you pretty much answered it. How can I still get a good session in when the gym is busy or I don't have a lot of time?
Yeah, so if the gym's busy, swap out the exercises for something very, very similar. As long as you're kind of doing the same movement, working the same muscle group, the same body part, you should be absolutely fine. If you don't have a lot of time, then maybe look at supersetting. You could superset a few different ways. So you could do um fucking my brain. For anybody that doesn't know, I have woken up ill as fuck this morning. Can you hear it?
A
No,
little croaky.
A
Oh,
little
Kyle's
croaky.
being nice.
I was trying to hype him up. I told him before we started recording he's looking sharp, even though he looks like shite. And then
I'm rocking the old biofitness hoodie.
I'll tell you what, that's still the best biofitness hoodie that exists.
Mm.
Remember I told you that I put it in the tumby?
Yeah,
Let's see if you can see it right.
oft. That's probably a visual representation of you today.
It fucking is. It fucking is. Yeah, so supersets. So you can do these in a couple of different ways. Agonist, antagonist, which would basically mean opposite muscle groups. Did I say that right? I feel like I just made that up.
Biceps and triceps, quads,
Biceps,
definitely.
triceps,
Yeah.
chest and back, stuff like that. One way that I like to set it up though for people that are kind of strapped on time is doing something like an upper body push paired up with a lower body pull. Because what that tends to do is when you're doing the lower body pull, the upper body is getting a bit of a rest, and it means you can actually get through your supersets a little bit quicker. So you could, for example, do a dumbbell incline bench press, and then have another set of dumbbells right next to you and do a bit of a dumbbell remaining deadlift, stuff like that.
Oh, I'm going to be controversial here.
Shock.
I think that's good for time efficiency, which is answering the question. The only stipulation I'd say there is because the heart rate demand of going from upper body to lower body, it probably is going to jack up your heart rate a bit, which can be good. But just bear in mind, if you're going to be doing this for the first time and you're used to taking longer rests or sticking to one muscle group, the chances are your second set and third set might be affected by the fact that your heart rate's struggling. So you might find that whilst you're technically not weaker, that your ability to express strength is a little bit lower is the only thing I'd add to that for context.
Just take 20 to 30 seconds between exercises.
There you go. There's the gas man on it.
So yeah, dumbbell chest press, 20 to 30 seconds, do your RDLs and then take 60 to 90 seconds rest. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I'm happy with that, Gary. That gets a pass in my book.
Excellent, excellent. I
Shannon,
am shivering like fuck here and I can feel my forehead sweating.
I don't know if that's actually just the fact that you're ill and done your first run, or it's the fact that we're also the weirdest summer of all time, where it's like really warm as of last week, and you almost had to put your heating on yesterday. So yeah,
Oh, it could be. Do you know what? That's exactly what it is. Probably like just that sudden change in fucking temperature outside. Pollen.
Isn't there like a myth if it rains on the 15th of July, then we're going to get rain for the rest of the summer or something? Isn't that a thing?
I've never heard.
I'd say somebody just pulled that out as a dinner trick. Go, oh, the 15th of July. It's probably
Is
saying
that like Irish folklore?
Don't think it's Irish. I just remember hearing that before. If it rains on the 15th of July, the rest of the summer's going to be a washout.
I've never heard that in my life.
same.
Oh, maybe I made it up in a dream or something, and I've just gone by this for my whole life.
I feel like asking ChatGPT if that's a fact or not. But
Do, because ChatGPT is the new Google.
right, well, I'll do that now. But Shannon, anything to add to Gary's very extensive points?
He pretty much hit the nail on the head. The only thing I would suggest if you're anyway experienced in the gym is getting yourself a squat rack and holding that bad boy down. You can do multiple different movements there. Like that tends to be my go-to now with the gym being so busy. I'm like, right, I'm just holding this rack and I'm doing every possible muscle I can think of in it, except for bicep curls, because that's a sin. You don't do that in a squat rack. I
I
said
can
what I said. I don't
Preach it,
agree with
sister.
that.
I I agree. I'm not going to lie. There has been times I've went into the gym when it's been busy and went, I'm not going to get what I want to do done, and it fucks with my anxiety that I didn't realise I had until I've realised that I live in that constantly. But I think walking in and seeing how busy it is, sometimes I have genuinely just wanted to go, nah, I'm not doing this today, and walk out. I haven't actually ever walked out. The thought does go through your head though. But yeah, I think doing both of what you guys said, having an alternative to what you're doing in the first place. No, lads, that doesn't mean that you can swap out split squats for bicep curls, which I have often seen. But yeah, I think having it's not going to make or break your progress if 1 week instead of doing, like, for instance, a dumbbell chest press that you have to do it on a machine, or if you have to do like a version of a dip or an overhead press, as long as it's some sort of pressing movement, ideally in the same plane as in, like, if it's horizontal, if it's vertical, like, it doesn't matter if it's a barbell machine or a dumbbell, providing you are still keeping within a similar rep range and a similar intensity, job's a good one. But yeah, I'm happy enough. Before we move on to our next question, does anybody have anything else? You're happy enough for that?
I think the intensity thing is very important to take note of there because people really shortchange themselves when it comes to swapping out exercises. Um, they'll swap out an exercise and maybe do it for the same rep range, but the intensity is just not quite there, so you're not getting the effects of the actual exercise. So make sure the intensity's up. And yeah, similar rep range, intensity nice and high, depending on what your goal is, 7, 8 out of 10.
Yep, 100%.
Right. This is quite fitting for the chat that we were having earlier about my running. What's a realistic, manageable way to start building cardio or run fitness if I'm not naturally drawn to it? Go on, one of these. I need the
Who's
advice.
hitting the buzzer?
I need the
Yeah,
advice, so I'm
right.
listening.
Right, I'll go first. I'll take the hit on this. You're going to have to wait for ChatGPT in the background then. So, not for this answer, but for raining on the 15th of July. So, can you just say the question one more time, guys, just so I can be concise and don't go on
Um,
a tangent?
what's a realistic and manageable way to start building cardio or running fitness if I'm not naturally drawn to it?
Right, if you're looking at the science side of things, like cardiovascular fitness is something that you can gain really quickly. You can lose it really quickly as well. But what they say is ideally you want to expose yourself to 2 to 3 different cardiovascular experiences. Ideally spaced 48 to 72 hours apart that last at least 15 to 20 minutes. So really what that is you can go for a 15 to 20 minute run. Don't worry about distance or putting pressure on yourself or anything like that. Just see if you can move, even if that means if you're starting at the very start, it could be the old lamppost thing where it's like you walk between or you run between one lamppost and a lamppost, you jog between a lamppost and a lamppost, you walk between a lamppost and a lamppost, and then it's walk, jog, run for a period of 15 to 20 minutes. If you can do that to start off with, and you do that twice a week for 15 to 20 minutes, you'll build cardiovascular fitness. Once you've done 15 to 20 minutes, you can up that to 25 and then 30. I would then at that point look at what distance you're covering and then start to build that up. So let's say in a 25-minute period that you're covering 3 kilometers. From there, like the next week, try and get 3.5, 4 kilometers. And then when you get to a point where you've like got to like, right, I'm happy enough with where I am, you can probably start looking at pace numbers. You can do it all at the same time, but if you are looking at just building a cardiovascular base, like an engine and being fitter, the science is on it as well. Is like what you said in your run, Gary, is like it felt awful, it felt heavy, it felt like cardiovascular, like, okay, I'm going to go back. Resistance training happens on a physiological level. So you build muscle, you actually have to break down a muscle cell for it to grow back stronger. It takes time and it has a visual representation in your body composition. It takes a long time to build, but it takes a long time to lose. Cardiovascular, for better or worse, doesn't happen like that. It happens on a more of a chemical level. So with that, you can gain cardiovascular fitness really, really quickly. Like you can feel awful this week running, but like next week you go and do a 3K and it feels, you start to get that floaty feeling. Like it happens really quickly. It's quite nervous system driven as well. So with that, all you need to do is, they say, is that you can double, particularly if you're untrained, you can double your cardiovascular fitness in a single session, and you just need to keep it consistent, which is positive. The only thing I would say to wrap this point up, you do lose cardiovascular fitness really, really quickly. Now, the good thing is you don't need to do as much of it to maintain your cardiovascular fitness. However, they do say once you get more trained, for every week of cardio that you miss, you essentially take 2 steps or 2 weeks backwards, which, if we're looking at that in a sporting context, so you're an athlete, that's why it's vitally important. Like if you see a footballer or an athlete get injured, the reason sometimes it takes them so long to get back into it isn't because of the injury itself, it's because they've lost all that cardiovascular fitness. They can't train properly, so it takes them so much time to actually get back up to that level of fitness, which is why it's always important to have, if you are building it up, keep it consistent is the only thing I'd say.
Yeah, I think to make it as simple as possible as well for people that are maybe looking to get into running, try a couch to 5K. Most couch to 5Ks online have a similar setup to what you would explain in there, Kyle, about the walk, jog, run thing. You can choose, depending on what kind of couch to 5K program you go for, you can choose your, if you're a beginner, intermediate, whatever it is. People that are absolute complete beginners, we've got a few of them in the gym just now that's started their couch to 5K journey. Their first like 3 weeks worth of runs are all like run for a minute, walk for 2 minutes. run for a minute, walk for 2 minutes, and then over time, run for 2 minutes, walk for a minute, and then it starts to build up for there, and then before you know it, they're running for 8 minutes, walking for 2 minutes, running for 8 minutes. So it's very, very consistent, and it also means that you don't need to do a lot of the thinking and a lot of the planning for yourself. Um, to be fair, if I was to plan my own running path or running program, I'm not going to fucking stick to it. Like, see if I tell myself I'm running for 8 minutes, I'm a fuck. You know what I mean? But if I've got something telling me, right, run for 8 minutes, walk for two, I'm more likely going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not naturally drawn to running. I am not a runner. I It doesn't agree with my knees. I'm not built for running. So I need someone directing me on how to improve that, because if it was up to me, I'm throwing the towel in every time.
100%.
Do you know what I
Shannon,
mean?
you actually went through the process of not being a runner to then being a consistent runner. How did you do it?
Um, well, correction, sir, I was a runner as a child.
Oh, the way to fuck. Yeah, I won a rowing competition when I was 16. Fuck off.
Gary, in case you did not know, I was an All-Ireland cross-country runner in my youth.
Why? Oh my God, is that like through school?
Yeah, during school, and then I discovered partying was way funner than that. So
Gary,
I spent my teenage years in that side of it all.
don't entertain this. There's a group of four of them.
What?
Shut up! I met the president. I was really cool back then.
The president of
Um,
Ireland.
yeah.
Back on with your point. Go on.
Back on with my point. So fell out of running, didn't really enjoy it anymore as a teenager, wasn't cool. Got into my 20s, still didn't like it. Seen the guys doing Belfast Marathon, and I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. Like, imagine running this long. And I was like, but I'd never be able to do that. My days are gone from running. But we started with 5 minutes 1 week, and it sounded so stupid running for 5 minutes. And I was running in my garden for 5 minutes because I wouldn't go out in the roads because I was mortified. I was like, ain't nobody seeing me run. So I just ran loops around my garden for 5 minutes. And then the next week it was 7, and then it was 10. And we just built it up slowly to the point that I just took an ocean one day and ran 5K without realizing it. And I actually started enjoying it because I wasn't putting any pressure on myself to do it. I was just running.
That's amazing. I love that. And quick side note as well, the first run is going to be the worst. Like the first run is genuinely going to be the worst. And I think a lot of people put themselves off by coming out hot as well.
Oh, I was
Like,
about to say that. I was waiting to jump that in too quick. Far too
yeah,
quick.
yeah, they come out hot, like full steam. They're 20 seconds into the run, absolutely dying a death. Um, Shannon with a hand up.
Me at High
Uh,
Rocks. Kyle literally
I
was constantly like, slow the fuck down. I was like, I feel good. I
Mate,
feel amazing.
I looked at her after the first lap, and I think Shannon was used to running at like a 6:30 per kilometre pace. I looked at my watch and she was doing a 4:30, and I was like, Shannon,
I was
uh,
like, this is incredible.
her face was the colour of my t-shirt, and I was like, Shannon,
Wow.
we are 5 minutes into what's probably going to be an hour and 40 here. Let's just fucking calm right down here.
You just get excited though, don't you? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a mistake that a lot of people make is coming out hot, like very hot too soon. If that does happen, then learn from your mistakes. Don't make that same mistake again. And also don't be put off by it. Like as I was saying earlier, that run yesterday it was awful, like painful. I felt terrible after it. I was shaky. I was saying to myself, what the fuck have I got myself in for here? But Kyle did say to me before we started recording the podcast, it can only get better from here. And that's the truth. Like the
Yeah.
first one's always the worst.
I'd say two things. Firstly, just so you have a reference point if you're listening and you are thinking about run, conversational pace. Like, can't stress that enough. Like, you should genuinely be able to speak to somebody beside you comfortably without breaking for like breath in terms of your conversation. It should be, that's really a good sign that you're in a position where you can manage that, because if not, it means that you're working without oxygen, or your oxygen demand is going to be higher than what you can cope with, which is where all the unpleasant things happen, where your muscles start to get lactic acid and your heart rate has to then go higher. You really just want to hold a conversation. second part to this for most people is running does get significantly easier with more running, but also on that, getting leaner will be one of the biggest things that you can do for like running, both performance, engine building, and like pace. Is just the leaner you get, the difference. Ross Edgley talks about this. Like you literally losing a kilo will make a massive difference as to what a 5K feels like. Like you lose 5 kilos, like it just compounds and compounds and compounds. So yeah, I'd say those two things: conversational pace and actually actively looking at getting leaner would be the two things I would.
Good. Shannon's tip to me was imagine you are pushing a pram in front of you when you're running. Like
Yeah.
just conversational, very controlled, and not too hot.
Mate, there's one of the boys in the group, Nario. He came to the Sunday 5K. He runs faster with a pram than he does without one.
Do you know, is that because he's supported? Like, and it's not as impactful?
I don't know, mate. I'm thinking that he had some sort of hydraulics or something on it. I don't know. He came down. There's the last kilometre's a hill, so you go up the hill and then you come down the hill. Which that's how hills work typically. But like on the way down, mate, he was absolutely scushing it, and I was like, I remember reading years ago that Wayne Rooney was faster with a ball. Like it was actually recorded faster running with a ball than without it, and I couldn't understand how that's possible. Like surely you're adding something that's more difficult in. Nayo was quicker at 5K with a pram, and I don't understand how it works. But
I think going down the hill, he was probably just trying to make sure that he didn't let go of the pram.
probably was, mate. It's a bit like there's parts of the Belfast Marathon I was quicker simply because I think I was they probably smelt the Catholic in me in a Protestant area.
Jet. 100%. That was good. Right, next one.
Shannon, it's your
I
turn.
go. I was getting my question ready. So, how do I know when it's time to test my strength or performance, and what should I expect?
Do you want to go, Gary? Do you want me to take this?
Depends what your goal is. I would say not everybody has to test their strength or performance. The best way to track your strength and performance is to make sure that you're tracking your actual training and your workouts. If your numbers are improving over time, in a specific lift that you want to get better at, then you're getting better at that lift. But I wouldn't say you have to test it unless you're competing, which is something that both of you guys have done. So I'm going to just take a back seat here and let you talk.
Do you want to go, Shannon? Do you want me to go?
I usually test when the boss man tells me to test.
Yeah, I'm the same as well. Like the only time I've really
Or if he calls me a shite bag, I try and
if
to do something then that week, being like, right, I'm not a shite bag.
Kyle tells you to test, then you fucking test.
So, what I think personally is that testing for a lot of people is redundant, especially when they're early into it, because their testing isn't going to be an accurate. They're just finding for the first wee while how to move properly, positionally, how things work, like actually finding relative strength. And to be honest, most people don't train, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but most people don't train to the intensity that like is going to give you accurate numbers when it comes to like actual training to start off with. But what testing can do typically when we're a bit more advanced on it is, testing can give us numbers. So what that can do is, for instance, if it depends on what you're testing. If we're talking strength testing, what it does is if you look at a push, a pull, and some form of leg movement, what it does is it gives you an indication of where somebody is at any given time. From there, it makes it easier to program the next block in terms of being able to look at, right, what numbers are we actually aiming for? A lot of people would be inclined, so the way I see it is you get two different camps. You get the camp of people who probably struggle to push themselves. I'm not talking 10 out of 10 like sessions, but like ultimately it's like you had about 7 reps left in the tank, but because you've gone to the gym, you think you've done something. But then you have the opposite, where you have the likes of like Avine that we coach, who like literally can't go to the gym without going to war with like a squat or a deadlift or whatever. Where numbers are good for both of those type of people is if you put numbers in place, it actually gives them a target to aim for that is still going to see them progress, but it means they're not going to then have to think that they have to go to a 10 out of 10 effort, and we can still see progressions throughout it. But then on the opposite, it's also going to push the people who have a bit more in the tank than what they think they do as well. And I think with any good training block, you should be able to see at the end of the period there should be progressions within that metric. So I think when you came out of a fat loss phase and you go into more performance, the big thing for all of us is getting stronger and fitter are two metrics that will ultimately not like change not just how you look but how you feel as well. We want to make sure that that is tangible. I think you guys are right in what you say. You can monitor that throughout the training, and to be honest, like for the first 5 or 6 years of my training, like I didn't fucking test anything. Like just go to the gym and you can absolutely get results without it. But I think like anything, the more you measure something, the more you can manage it. But last point to it, people can get too caught up in testing. They want to test every fucking week.
Yeah.
At that point, you are testing strength, but you're not building strength. The problem with that is like if you do a 1 rep max or a 3 rep max, you're not actually building any strength. You're just showing what you can express on the day, but you're essentially wasting firstly a week before it resting to make sure you can test appropriately. You've stressed yourself to a point where you've probably not built much strength that's going to take you another week to recover from. So testing itself is a bit of a process where it's like, right, is it worth doing? I would probably say, to answer the question in the way it was asked, like minimum time frame between them, I would say 6 weeks. Ideally, probably somewhere between 6 weeks and 3 months is really where the testing periods I'd look at.
See, for general population, or do you think they need to be testing a 1 rep max?
No.
It's more of an ego thing for most people. Like, oh, how much do you bench, bro? Why is that relevant? Why does that fucking matter? Like,
I don't think I go back to the point, I don't think for most of the general population 1 rep max is a true 1 rep max anyway. Like if you ask most of the general population, you ask a guy who sits at an office all day and doesn't have a massive training history to do a 1 rep max bench press, I guarantee you that 1 rep max bench press is going to look like somebody taking a stroke and it's going to give you no data whatsoever. So I would say probably not. What probably is a good indication is finding a weight that is maximal to some rep range. Now that's probably like a 6 to 10 reps because it's not as focused or as, what's the word? It's not as much risk factor or form breakdown as a 1 rep max, but like finding what you can maximally do for like 10 reps in a shoulder press, there's a lot to be said about finding what that number is because that means that you've got an anchor point to look at for your training. The opposite of that is people that go into the gym and they don't have a fucking clue what they've lifted, what they can lift, and then just pick up random weights. It's like they almost, you see the people in the gym where they just stroke every weight going up the dumbbells to see what one's available. Like, don't be that person.
yeah,
what you're lifting.
Mate, we've got some members in the gym that come into the semi-private sessions, and we have an app that you can track your workouts in. Now, granted, it's not all singing, all dancing. It can be quite annoying at times, but we'll at least have an app that you can track the numbers in. So many times I went in and I'm like, right, what was your top set last week? Oh, I don't know. I'm like that. So we're just guessing again. Like the progress is stalled because you're not tracking numbers. Oh, I'll just try and remember it for next week. Fucking write it down. Write it down on a bit of paper. Take a note on your phone just so you can look back. That is a good way to track your progress. Strength, progression, and even, what was the other one? Strength and performance.
Yep.
That's the best way to track it. Write it all fucking down.
I was going to say, I got a guy that I'm coaching that last week I actually brought that exact point to him. I'm like, mate, I'm glad that we're back in the habit and routine of going to the gym, but for the last 4 weeks, you have listed exactly the same weight for each of your exercises. What you're going to get really good at is lifting that weight.
Yeah.
But what that means is you're not putting on, there's no additional stress. It's like running a 5K. You'll get really good at running a 5K at like 29 minutes if you always run a 5K at 29 minutes, but there's no progression there. So you're not going to see anything else on top of that. So I do think some people get very caught up on, and I'm saying this for fucking everybody listening, please listen to this. If you take anything away from this, you don't need to go if you're lifting a weight. I'm just going to put an arbitrary number out there for an arbitrary lift. If you're lifting 30 kilos 1 week, don't try and just like, it's 30 or 40. See those little 1.25s? 32 and a half, mate. 32 and a half. And then see the week after that, try 35. See the week after that, do what
40.
37 and a half.
Shannon's not mapping.
I jump.
Well, actually,
That's my wee going in there. I'm like, nah, jump to 40.
Well, See, for the people that I said, people listening, fucking Shannon, listen, 1.25s. There you.
They're very hard to get your hands on in my gym. I will say that though. That drives me wild when they only have one set of something in each gym. Drives me wild.
Okay, there is a factor there. So I am going to account for that because I do understand there are gyms and I've been part of them. Seems the Republic Island have tons of gyms, but tons of shit gyms. But probably shouldn't be saying that when there's a few of those gyms that do favours for us. There's tons of issues with certain gyms. Not making that any better. But like, I think smallest jump that I would, no, biggest jump that I would typically make is 5 kilos. Like, I wouldn't jump any more than that because at that point it is too much stress. You want progressive stress over time. Don't stay on the same weight for 4 weeks in a row. I do get the circumstances sometimes that come alongside that. If you're in a fat loss phase, sometimes we are really just holding on to strength and making sure that we hold on to that. But realistically, if we're not in that and we're just looking at progressive training, let's please start looking at upping your weight. It's a slow, gradual increase.
Yeah, 100%. That's good. Right, we get time for one more, is that right?
Let me jump in before I do it. So, raining on July 15 doesn't mean the rest of the summer will be a washout. The idea comes from Weller folklore, like the St. Swithin's Day legend in the UK, which says, St. Swithin's Day, if thou dost rain, for 40 days it will remain. And that was based on 15th of July. So it's a UK thing, but ChatGPT does give you the facts here and say summer weather is variable. One rainy day doesn't reliably indicate a long-term pattern. It does go on for fucking ages, so I'm not going to read the rest of it out. But
I'm just glad I didn't make that up. Like, I'm glad that I have actually heard that somewhere.
Well, I did also type after it, is there a likelihood that Shannon made this up? And they did say that there's a high probability.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's my world and we're just all living in it.
It gave me facts going down to the fact that Shannon's a shite talker. But there's more of them to read out. But right, the last question. Gary, do you have one to hand?
I do, mate. What are the best ways to adjust my training and nutrition when I'm recovering from an injury or a medical procedure? Now, medical procedure, I can't really talk too much on, but injuries, I've done a wee bit of research into this recently because we have had a few niggles and stuff in the gym and whatnot. You can still train with an injury, obviously depending on what the injury is. If you've got fucking half a leg and whatever, you probably need to let that recover before you go back in the gym. But let's say
is it grown back, mate? Like at the half a leg, is it grown back?
Yeah, true. Aye. Well, you need to let the stitches sew up, right? Say you pick up a wee niggle in your shoulder, right? We'll go shoulder. You can still train. Like, you can still do variations of certain exercises. One thing that I've found as well, especially with shoulders seem to be quite prevalent for injury in the gym, and I'm putting it down to the fact that a lot of people are hunched all day, sitting on a desk, on their phone. You can still train that shoulder. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do here, right? You can either train single-sided. So let's say I've injured my left shoulder. I can still do shoulder press with my right. And the research shows that that's going to have a bit of a carryover to your left shoulder. You do maintain a bit of strength, and it can also help aid with recovery. Now, you can also go a bit lighter on that shoulder and change your grip. So let's say if you're doing a barbell shoulder press and it's niggling, try a dumbbell and bring your hand in, do a bit more of a neutral grip. It might not niggle it as much. It might not niggle it at all. So there is ways to work around injuries. What I would highly suggest is do not use an injury as an excuse to not go to the gym.
100% agree. I think that's just the easy way out, and I'd be really polite in saying that. But I also broke a finger. Oh, there's a wee fly. What was it, like 8 weeks from my powerlifting competition that time? And immediately when it happened, I was just like, that's it, can't train, broke a finger, that's the end of the world. And Kyle was like, ha ha ha. No. Took me in and we figured out how I could still train without barbells and stuff like that with the broken finger, with the splint on it. And it is adaptable. Like, even I had one of the girls and she ended up dislocating her knee, ended up having getting surgeries and all that. And immediately she was like, no, can't train. That's the end of that. Can't do my nutrition, can't do anything. I was like, you can actually control a lot of these things. yes, we mightn't be able to do any lower body exercise, but we can still work on our upper body. And there is absolutely no excuse why we can't keep our nutrition on point here.
Hmm.
So it's just how you kind of view it, I think.
Just going to ask the question, Shannon. See that powerlifting competition that you broke your
Yeah,
fingers?
I didn't compete in the end, but we were delirious and thinking I could. Like, I was fully convinced I was going to be fine in 8 weeks to
Yeah,
lift a barbell.
but you did go on to end up winning powerlifting competition that wasn't a million miles after that, wasn't it?
It was before that one.
Okay, that fucked my point.
Yeah. So
What
my
year?
first ever powerlifting competition, I won. Then I was like, yeah, I'm so good at this. I'm going to go again. And then I broke my finger, and then my hopes and dreams were out the window. 2 years later, we're on redemption arc now.
Oh, redemption arc. Yeah, need to put a few filters on your Instagram content. You'd be grand. Um,
Some mad ale music and like heavy quotes of shite being thrown at you.
I'm looking forward to that reel coming out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
when my
no,
editing skills let me.
the only things I would summarize on that is the fact that yeah, one side it's weird how it does have that crossover, but like definitely have. I think it's a mentality thing. Like I always used to say this when it came to PT sessions and stuff. Is like I had people who would like it'd be raining outside and they'd be like, "No, I'm not coming today."
Right.
I have genuinely had people that like I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm just giving you an extreme view. I've had people who've had family members die, and like I remember it stuck out. It was a woman whose like family dog died, and she was devastated, and she's like, "Still coming." Like it's like it needs to be done. I'm not saying that either of them are right or wrong, but I'm just like there is a mentality there where there's people who do and there's people who don't. And I think with that, like there is always an option. And if you're someone who's like, right, we've got an obstacle, but let's not make it an obstruction. There's definitely ways to look around it. We have all been injured and we've all found ways around it. But I think the biggest issue when you are injured or ill, you break routine completely and it's so difficult to get back into because in your head it's like, oh, as soon as I'm fixed I'll go back into doing exactly what you were, and it's like, well, actually the cost of you not doing anything in that meantime, the cost of you allowing your nutrition to go to shit, and the cost of you sitting watching Netflix is, do you know what, it's actually really comfortable doing all that stuff, and see, to try and force getting back, really difficult to do. So you can definitely do things. I know it's not convenient if you're wanting to go to the gym and you've got like, I had tendonitis in both knees for an entire year. Like even just going onto a bench to do a single arm row, my knee pressing against it, I was like, this is agony. It feels awful. But like that didn't mean I couldn't do like a cable row. Like it was frustrating and a reminder of the
Yeah.
fact that I never knew when it was going to end. But you know what? I did keep at it. I'm not going to say it was easy, but there was some dark days and I didn't have coaches to be able to help me. But realistically, it meant at the back end of it, I hadn't lost any strength. If anything, when my knees were fixed, it was actually, do you know what, I've new lease of life gone. Class, I've now got something else to add to my training, but I still made really good progress without it.
That's it. There's always ways to make progress, even with an injury. Do you ever remember that little niggle I had on my kind of left elbow and it was going up into my
Yeah,
bicep?
Like your tennis
So,
elbow, wasn't it?
it was wanting to
I
scrap.
don't know if it was tennis elbow, but um, I found when I was doing wide grip pull-ups or wide grip lat pull downs that it only started niggling when I got to the bottom. So I swapped it for chin ups and close grip lat pull downs. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I couldn't do hammer curls because it really hurt. But if I came across my body, it was absolutely fine. So that definitely you can train with an injury. You just have to be um, a bit smarter about it. Actually think about what you're doing. Make sure you're not aggravating the injury any. As for a medical procedure, like depending on how serious the medical procedure is, if you're going off, I was talking about cysts earlier. I had that behind my ear. I could go in and train after that. Do you know what I mean? They cut that out, which was a medical procedure. After I had my hernia operation, though, I literally had to take like 4 to 6 weeks completely away from the gym.
Oh
Anything
yeah.
that put any sort of tension through my core, I felt like someone was like tearing the wound. So things like that, I had to take a bit of a step back. But I took a step back from the training side of things. Didn't take a step back for the nutrition side of things.
Yeah,
Doesn't all come as one package. Like people are so all or nothing. Like if they're not training, then why the fuck should they be looking after their nutrition? Do you know what I
Or
mean?
moving.
Exactly. Walking was fantastic for me. It helped really like aid recovery. When I could walk, I was like, it took me about a week, I think, before I was able to actually get up and move. just because of where the hernia was, it was in such an awkward place that if I was to like sit up off a couch or something like that or a seat, it was pretty fucking sore. So a week of rest, stay on top of the nutrition, start walking, start easing myself back into the gym, and then I'm, back at it before you know it. But yeah, don't use medical procedures and injuries as an excuse to throw a pity party and set yourself back when it's not necessary.
Correct. I think we'll wrap up there.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Survived podcast number 2.
That was good. Hopefully, I am not fucking ill for next week's one.
Yeah, I was going to say that'd be nice, mate. We'll see how you get on with your second run. And
We'll see how we go. Aye. This podcast might be delayed in coming out because I've got my second run on the day that I usually edit the podcast.
To be fair, I think 70% of people that listen to it are from Ireland. They've probably got a set of rosary beads and some holy water kicking about. We'll get them to say a few prayers for you.
I know someone with the cure.
Send a few Hail Marys my way.
Is that a thing over your way? The cure?
The cure?
Like, there's certain people in Ireland that have cures for random things.
No.
Oh, this is massive in Ireland.
Is this like gypsies and stuff?
They wouldn't be gypsies, but they could be like priests. They could be just someone that has, like, say you have warts. You can go to someone and they have the cure for the warts and the warts go away and stuff like that. It's mad. We have it for everything.
Fucking hell.
First I've heard of it, Shannon, but I'll tell you what they have. Like, the tendency to talk shite is what they have. That's
Nah, you didn't need. Maybe you can go for your hip flex, or maybe you can get the cure for that. Like, I shit you not, my granny turned around to. Do you remember Jade hurt herself out walking and she did her ligaments that time?
yeah.
My granny was like, I know a man in Monaghan and he's got the cure for ligaments. I was like, hardly there's someone for ligaments now, Dini. And she was like, there is, yeah, he does the cure for the ligaments. It's a thing.
I'll tell you what.
Say a few prayers at your feet and that's it, gone.
See if you're that convinced it works, why don't you go and find somebody for your ovaries? Why you go to the hospital? Why you go to the doctors? Go to the fucking person with the cure.
Because they could be down the fucking country. I'm not going to go fucking down to Cork to get that cure.
Right, Trips. Thanks, Dave, for the music.
Kyle, where can they find you?
Kyle_biofitness. Shannon, where can they find you?
Shan_biofitness. 2 N's.
Gary, where can they find you?
Gary_biofitness. And I did hear you giving Dave and Toby a shout out there, but we'll just do it a second time because I think I cut across you.
Thank you, Dave and Toby, for the music.
There you go, a third time.
The tunes.
The tune.
Right, team, we will see you all in the next one.
Bye.